turtles. I like turtles. Beat. Turtles. Beat. Turtles. Beat. Turtles. Beat. Turtles. Turtle. Beat. Turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles.
All right, what's up, Turtle Riders out there? How are we all doing tonight? I'm going to take a moment and I am just going to switch on over to the mic tonight. I'm going to try not to yell in it too much. I don't want to wake anyone up. Let people roll in there. Seeing a lot of emojis. That's what I like to see. All right, let's go to this microphone and we good. All right. How's that sound, folks? Feeling good out there tonight? Hopefully we got some. How's the quarantine going? I think we're on like day 10 now of the commie cold. We're all alive out there at least. I just shared this link on the Clarence Woods Emerson page, which is up for like 2 weeks now. Knock on wood. That'll be gone soon, I'm sure. So go ahead, give that a share if you don't mind. Let people know we're live. We're getting close to 10,000 subs, folks. We're up to like 9.6 thousand. And I don't know if they're like shadow banning us on the Turtle Boy Sports Forever page, but like that one has not been growing at the pace I'd like it to. It's been stuck on like 22,000 low numbers for a while. I like to get that up to 25, maybe up to 100,000. We'll see. I don't know if we'll be that lucky, but anyway. Just a reminder, folks. Let me take this moment to remind you fine people out there that none of this is possible, guys, without our good friends over at Andrew Porter Contracting. See it on the shirt. Really nice guys out in Charlton. All right. If you're in the market for a new roof or any general contracting, but especially roofing, guys, you want somebody who's got an excellent rating across the board, a great reputation in the community, people that you could trust, and that would be our good friends over at Andrew Porter Contracting, guys. They get 5-star ratings across the board. Google, Angie's List, Home Advisor, you name it. They're an Owens Corning preferred vendor. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They are fantastic. They do great jobs with roofs. It's literally the most important investment you will ever have on your home. If you get it done, you want to get it done right. It drastically affects the resale value of your home. When you go to buy a home, it's the same way. You don't want the shingles far apart. You don't want the purple roof. You don't want to turn into the white trash house. You don't want to look like where Ryan Waters lives. You want to live, although I don't even think he lives anywhere, but that's another story. Make sure you go on their Facebook page right now, give them a like, and guess what? You're automatically entered to win free Red Sox tickets just by liking their page. They give away free shit every month to Turtle Riders. They're great folks. Give them a like. Trust me, you'll thank me later. All right, so how's everybody doing tonight? Let's see. Come on, let's get this up to 100 subs. Quarantine, baby. We should be out of here. Sorry about last night. So last night's show, guys, got interrupted because we had some issues with Dish. So I have Dish, and it was the same way when I had DirecTV. For some reason, I live in the woods, so I have tall trees everywhere. The DirecTV satellite, they can't get it at my house, so I got to get Dish. Dish sucks. It's not as good as DirecTV, but it is a little cheaper. And the problem is whenever it snows, like a heavy snow like it was last night, for some reason it snowed, it accumulates on the dish, and then I just lose everything. I had no cable, no internet for a while, but it was weird because I was still talking to David Dyer in Madrid. We were having a good conversation, just no one could hear it. So how the hell I was able to talk to him, I don't know. Maybe just streaming takes up a lot of bandwidth. I don't know. Some people were saying it was Fupa Computer. It was not Fupa Computer. It was Fupa, Dish, Fupa Dish. That's what it was. We had a bad case of that last night. So we are back tonight. It's not snowing. We should be good, etc. And let's get ready to rock and roll. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the first thing I want to talk about here on the agenda tonight, folks. And that would be this big story today. So this one's getting tons of traffic, this story. We finally had a big winner. Biggest story we've written about in a while. And I don't know why. Maybe people just like a douchebag. And this guy is your epic douchebag right here. Gary Simon. So have you guys ever been to the British beer company? First of all, it's called the BBC. And for the pornography connoisseurs out there, that might be a little confusing. It's a different kind of bangers and mash this time around. All right. It's actual sausage that they're serving up here. British style. I don't know if you guys ever been to this place. It's called. It's like a British pub kind of place. I don't know. I like they opened one in Worcester like 3 or 4 years ago. I went a couple times. I actually liked there. I like the food. It is what it is for a chain restaurant, but it didn't last very long. No one was ever there when I was there, and I felt like you didn't even know Worcester had one. Like their marketing, whatever it is, sucks. And I'll tell you one thing. So their manager contacted me about advertising, right? The guy that was the GM of the Worcester one. And he was talking about advertising because I noticed he was in Pulse Magazine and Worcester Magazine. And if you're advertising with those idiots, you're literally throwing money away. Like nobody reads Pulse Magazine or Worcester Magazine. You're just throwing money away. Anyway, so I contacted the guy. And we talked, and he liked what he's seeing, and we were going to set something up. And then there was a blog I wrote. This always freaking happens around Worcester. This is why I can't have too many Worcester advertisers. Something always happens. There was this chick, Alexis, I think Aslanian. Do you guys remember her? It was probably early 2017, I want to say. And she was just this ratchet white chick, pretty good looking though. And she got in a fight on Water Street, and she like thought she was gangster. She's like, gangster shit. She dropped an N-bomb and stuff. And obviously that's like prime Turtle Boy material. I blog about it. And then the guy messages me, and he's like, the guy from the freaking BBC messages me, and he's like, can you take it down? I'm like, I know her. She's a nice girl. I know her dad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the fuck? You're asking me to take it down? So I'm like in this position now. I'm like, if I want this deal, if I want to get the advertising deal with this guy, I'm going to take a blog down. And I'm like, no, I can't. Sorry, dude. You can't dictate content around here. That's not how it works. And he backed off. Like literally. So basically what you had at the end here was the GM of this franchise decided he didn't want to be seen on the most popular blog in the area where you'll get 1 million times the views you will on Worcester Magazine or Pulse Magazine. Why? Because you wanted to defend the honor of some ratchet skank who gets in fights on Water Street and yells the N-word. Right? Like literally, you literally chose her over a smart business move. A year later, they were out of business. Now, is that entirely because they didn't advertise on Turtle Boy? Arguably. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't quantify that for sure. However, I would just like to say that it's just shitty marketing, man. Shitty marketing. Right? Get your name. Like, if you're like an established brand like that, because they're a chain. I think he was like their 11th or 12th at the time. You want to get out there, man. You want to make a name for yourself, right? Let them know you're in town. When the Chick-fil-A opened up in Worcester, everybody knew about it. I don't know how, but everybody friggin' knew the Chick-fil-A opened up in Worcester. When the British Beer Company opened up in Worcester, nobody knew. It was right on Shrewsbury Street, too, like the biggest restaurant street in Worcester. Nobody knew. So they obviously do a shitty job marketing, and they're losing franchises one after another. They lost one in Framingham. They just lost one in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So this guy, I got sent these internal emails today. And I don't know. Every day I wake up to some crazy shit. Like people in my inbox, like, how the hell do I get these emails? I don't know. I just get sent. People send them to me. And I read them over. I'm like, wow, what a dick. So this guy, Gary Simon, writes an email, and he says, let's see what he says here in the email. There he is. Da-da-da. All right. We're going to skip by Emily's thing there. Okay, so this is Gary Simon. He says, good morning, everyone. This is an email he sends to all the GMs. I hope everyone's safe and feeling okay. I know everybody is anxious about their future, as am I. I'm 23 years in business, and in our 23 years in business, we've seen a lot. The 2008 financial crisis, whatever that has to do with anything, 9/11, other pandemics such as H1N1, SARS, Ebola, and Zika. Oh, God. Oh, fucking Christ's sake. We're comparing this to Zika. Oh, jeez. Anyway, but this one is affecting the most by far. You think you think that this might affect business, like an order from the state to shut down might affect you a tiny little bit more than SARS. I don't know. It might be going on a limb there. So he goes on to say, unfortunately, because of this, the payroll you would normally receive this coming Friday cannot be met. Cannot be met. So I would assume that this upcoming Friday, you know, the payroll that's be coming in for people would be for hours already worked. I think that's a pretty fair assumption. I have a hard time believing that a chain restaurant pays people in advance for labor. I don't know. That's just a guess. So he goes on to say, being completely shut down has caused us to be unable to fund that payroll at this time. That being said, we're working diligently with our bank, accountants, and an attorney to secure these funds as quickly as they are available, whatever that means. The $1 trillion bailout initiative we all keep hearing about is stalled in Congress. I promise you, we will be applying for whatever we qualify for as quickly as humanly possible. So he's literally blaming this on Congress, and we can get to that in a moment too. But he also goes on to say, you may have heard that banks, utility companies, and other people you typically pay have suspended their attempts to collect money. Okay? No one wants to be the one to evict, foreclose, repossess during these times. What the hell does that have to do with you paying the money? Like, is he trying to say here, like, oh, don't worry about us paying you. Don't worry, because they're not going to evict you anyway. You'll be all set. Huh? Remember, and this is my favorite, remember, you are only one of many, many millions of people that they're dealing with. Oh, okay. So I'm one of millions of people not getting paid. That makes me feel a lot better. What are you talking about? I'll keep everyone apprised of any and all developments as we progress. Please be safe and healthy. Gary Simon, British Beer Company. So one of the guys responds, the GM from the Hyannis one responds and says to him, thank you for providing all this information, blah, blah, blah. The payroll that is due Friday, are we just not telling them until then? Like, we're just not going to tell them? Like, oh, surprise, no check. Would it be viable to send out their checks and hopefully that account will be funded by Friday? I know the second they get a message like that, they'll start quoting labor laws. You think? Our entire staff is laid off. They live off blah, 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 blah. So basically, don't be a dick. And then he comes back and Gary says, Gary, you can't trust anyone named Gary or anyone with two first names for that matter, Gary Simon. Gary Simon says, unfortunately, I can't even produce the checks. The payroll needs to have the money on account in order to write the checks. That was a terrible idea, by the way. Just like, ooh, maybe we're going to give it to them on Friday. And then if we get the cash in the account on Saturday, nobody will cash it by then. Handing out checks that aren't covered is against the law. I certainly know about the labor laws, but these are extenuating circumstances that everyone is aware. Time out. I don't think labor laws start existing because of coronavirus. I don't think that's a thing. I think you still have to pay the employees for hours worked. Like, we're not talking. There seems to be some confusion about this. Some people are saying, well, if you're going to lay someone off, then lay them off, right? But you can't say, well, you worked 40 hours last week and, oh yeah, I just don't got it. So maybe next time. Maybe when Congress gets its act together and gives me money, then I'll do it. Now, the argument here, like, this makes no sense whatsoever, right? So you're telling me that literally the business itself is living paycheck to paycheck? Like, 'cause that's what it sounds like. It'd be one thing if the workers didn't have savings and they were, living literally paycheck to paycheck and they need the paycheck to pay the rent and blah, blah, blah. That's understandable. But you're the owner. You don't just own one. There's 9 franchises, I believe, 8 or 9. There's like a lot. If you have more than one restaurant, that's usually a good indicator that things are going okay, right? I mean, granted it's in decline, like Friendly's, right? But at the same time, why do you own more than one if they're not profitable? You're telling me you're not making money? Somebody told me this guy, I can't confirm this, but somebody told me he just bought a Porsche. I went and saw all the on the registry of deeds. I go right to the registry of deeds of the Barnstable County. See all the shit the guy's got, mortgages, you name it. So he has capital. Pay it out of your own pocket then, dude. You own 9 restaurants. How hard is it to pay? If you want to lay him off, then lay him off. But I don't know if I'm told some people are telling me he's contesting unemployment. I have no way to confirm that. But bottom line here is, like, you are a chain restaurant here. Payroll comes first, dude. That's literally your first bill. That comes before anything. That comes before rent, everything else. Like, you could tell the landlord, I don't got it this month. And like you said earlier, maybe they'll be flexible with it. Maybe, like, it's times are tough. You got to play your freaking employees, man. You can't just be like, oh, well, we just don't have it this week. Oops. Coronavirus. Oops. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Of course you got to pay him. So, you publish this blog, and you see this guy's doing well for himself on it. Look at all this. I don't know. I looked in some of these. A lot of them are, I don't know. These are a couple of them are mortgages he took out. He's not living glamorously or anything like that. I looked at a couple of the homes, and I don't know who he's buying these homes for. I don't know what he's doing. But the bottom line is, he's on the Cape Cod Today Times, whining about business being down. And believe me, I'm very sympathetic to businesses. And let me tell you guys, I told my wife tonight, I'm like, we should order out. It's like literally our patriotic duty to order out, I feel like, at this point. Yeah, it's a little bit more money, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, if we're all in this together, isn't that kind of like how the social contract works, right? Like we should be supporting small businesses in this time, because without takeout, they don't get anything. Like they're entirely dependent on takeout. So I'm going to do that more. I mean, it's an excuse to order out more often. And I'm probably going to do it now more often. And I would encourage others to do the same. Order out if you can't. If I understand everybody's finances are different. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But I'm going to keep doing it as much as possible. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg, right? But it's how you keep these companies, these businesses afloat, because hopefully they're there when this shit ends, because this shit's crazy. How you guys doing out there, by the way, in quarantine world? I got to be honest with you. It doesn't feel that different for me, because I literally live on the internet anyway. I leave the house. Like I said yesterday, the only thing that's different for me is I don't get to go to Planet Fitness anymore. And so I just go running instead. The weather's getting better, so that's good for my exercise. And I don't really feel that different, man. I just sit in my house all day and write blogs, and I live on the internet. And I don't even know any of this shit's going on really until I turn on the news at night. Because I'm too busy looking for ratchets all day. I'm living in a completely different world. I understand other people don't have that option. And I guess the big difference now is that like the crotch fruit's around and they're always interrupting me. Daddy, do you see when I said this? Or something like that, Oh, Daddy, I ate my whole peanut butter sandwich. It's delicious. That's the only thing that's different this time around, is the constant interruptions of little crotch fruits coming into my office telling me about every single aspect of their day. That's pretty much the only thing different. Yeah, but the quarantine, I mean, it's really not that. I mean, it is bad economically for people, but it's really not that bad. I mean, as long as you got Netflix, what is this? If this is our World War II or whatever, and it involves sitting in your house watching Netflix and reading Turtle Boy all day, not so bad. Not so bad. Now, I don't want to underplay the people that are financially affected by this and hurting about it. But I'm doing my part, right, in making sure coronavirus doesn't spread by sitting in my house, man. And it ain't that bad. All right. And so they're talking about, people are saying watch Tiger King. Everybody's telling me to watch Tiger King on Netflix. Everybody's telling me that. I'll have to watch it. People are saying it's like Turtle Boy embodied on TV. Isn't it about like a murderer or something? The guy looks weird. I saw the picture of it. Everybody's talking about the Tiger King, whatever it's called. Is there Tiger King? Is that what it's called? Anyway, I'm so happy that the government, like that Charlie Baker finally did something right, and he came in and he actually shut down, right? Because all these idiots are out there playing basketball, like the most physical contact sport. Shut that shit down, man. Enough of spreading this crap. However, the other side makes some good points too. I'm not going to lie, right? Because you can't have a society, right, where nobody works. This can't go on for very long. Like, let's be realistic here. Because it's literally, we're just going to create a society of leeches. We're all going to become leeches. We're all going to become dependent on the government. And the government gets its money from us in our taxes, which come from our jobs, which aren't going to exist for people. This can't go on for much longer. So Trump today announces that, and this makes liberals all mad. He's like, I want to be back up by April 12th, right? Easter Sunday. But he didn't say we're going to be. He said he'd like to be. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, here's my plan for coronavirus. It's pretty simple. Matt Walsh had a tweet about it. I completely agree. We should be, first of all, whatever the cost is to get the tests, I don't understand how this works, but tests should be like widely available. Like everybody should be able to get a test. No problem. It shouldn't be, I don't know how complicated this is. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but you should just be able to get tested. Not should be able to, should be forced to. Every single American should be tested. Like, I don't care if it means the police coming to my house and making me take the test. Every single American should be tested for the commie cold. And if you got it, you're quarantined. If you don't got it, go to work. But if you do got it, not only are you quarantined, we're going to chip you like a dog and we're going to GPS your ass. We're going to know where you are at all times. Like an ankle bracelet kind of, right? And you can't leave. Old folks' homes, automatic quarantine. Sorry, guys. Matlock's on. Enjoy it. But no, you can't go out. Period. You're too old. Nobody wants you driving on the roads anyway. Just but the young people, we got to work, man. This can't go on forever. I don't know if it was Cuomo. Somebody said 49 months. That ain't going to work, man. 4 to 9 months is not going to work. We need to start chipping people like dogs. I'm telling you, that's what we got to do. Just start chipping them. You need to get cleared to go out. You need to get tested. You need to prove that you don't got the commie cold, and then you can go out. Period. If you don't pass the test, if you got it, if you got the shot fluey, then boom, GPS chip. We'll come back in 2 weeks after your quarantine and see if it's gone. Okay? That's my recommendation. That's my recommendation. Yeah. Because you got, like you said, we got 3 crowds of douchebags with this whole thing. You got the I don't know. I put this poll up the other day about who's the worst. The Maflu people, the Mafreedoms people, or the ratchets selling toilet paper. I mean, they're all bad in their own ways. But I feel like everyone was like, see. I think they're the least bit of the problem. I mean, they're just hilarious and awful. But the first 2 are going to try to get us killed. Maybe not get us killed, but make sure this never ends. Right? It's like, it's not going to end if we just keep doing life as usual. So, I don't know. Do you guys feel like it's out there? I feel like the worst of the 3 is the Maflu people, because they just don't understand the gravity of it all. The Mafreedoms people are next, but the Maflu people who just, no, stop it. Stop. People are like, more people die of the flu. Okay. Well, the flu, it doesn't spread exponentially like this. Like exponentially. It doesn't indiscriminately kill old people in general, in particular. Like the Kung Flu does. So, anyway, yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I do, I go outside and I see, I don't know, you guys, if you want a real good laugh, I saw a couple videos of these on Twitter. There's these videos of Italian mayors. They're so pissed off. They're so pissed off at the idiots who still go outside in Italy. And they're just making videos from their desks, just yelling at them in Italian. Of course, you see the what is it called? The subtitles at the bottom, so you know what the caption, you know what they're saying, but they're just yelling at them. What the fuck are you doing on the streets? How many fucking times does your dog need to be walked? Get the fuck back inside. They just patrol. They're furious because all these people are dying, and human nature is so stupid. People just don't understand. Stay the fuck inside. It's really not that bad. I get it. It's whatever, man. I get you want to get out. I suppose it's different if you're living in an apartment or something like that. If you're living in the city, I live in the country, so it's a lot easier for us out here because I can just go outside and walk around and not see another human being. So people in cities can't do that, But yeah, so that's this whole thing. Yeah, we all know Brett's stance on coronavirus. Brett's the only guy in the world who's actually rooting for the coronavirus, but I think that was expected. That was expected from Brett. He's hashtag team coronavirus. Anyway, the other thing that's pissing me off, right, is all right, so Congress, these fucking assholes. Good God. And I understand my liberals and conservatives are never going to agree with this, and there's two sides to every story. But it's pretty fucking simple. If you can get Republicans, conservatives, which you have now, right, coming out and saying, let's spend massive amounts of money and give it directly to the people. That is like completely antithetical to conservative ideology, right? That is a left-wing thing. But you have conservatives on board with it. People like Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas and Senator Hawley from Missouri are like leading the charge on this. Like more. Ted Cruz, people like that. They're like literally saying, let's spend massive amounts of money and give it directly to the people. That liberals should be like, yes, finally, you woke up. You're seeing our side. And so what do? What does Nancy Pelosi do? She shows up and she's like, yeah, okay, we'll vote for that, but we're going to add 40 fucking things on here that we're also going to want. $15 an hour minimum wage, like $25 million for the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Like insane shit. Planned Parenthood's getting more money. Like every fucking left Green New Deal initiatives. Like literally they're just like, they can't let a good disaster go to waste. It's fucking shameful. It's absolutely shameful. Now, I don't even know why I'm getting money. I'm not going to lie. They're going to send me a check. I'm going to cash it, period. But why are they sending me money? Like my business has not changed. My wife is still getting paid because she's a teacher, right? Why are we? I'll take it. You write me a check. I'm going to cash it, period. But I don't understand that. I don't understand that logic. It seems like I'm benefiting from coronavirus. No? I mean, why am I getting that? I don't know. But the bottom line here is these freaking idiots just cannot let a good tragedy go to waste. They have to freaking push their bullshit, and then it doesn't come through, and here we are. And you know what they're doing instead? The other thing that's really pissing me off, the other blog I wrote today, is the fucking whining about what we call it. So Trump, like a month ago, got shit because he called it the Wuhan virus or the Chinese coronavirus, which literally CNN was calling it for months, back when they didn't think it was a big deal. And he starts calling it the Chinese coronavirus, and people are like, oh, that's racist. You can't say that. I'm like, I thought they were kidding at first. But then more and more of them are saying it. And now he just does it to piss them off. Fuck that. Fuck that. Chinese coronavirus. Wuhan virus. Wu flu. Chop fluey. Kung flu. Commie cold. Okay? This, whatever this is. Okay? Everything, and I've said this before, the best way to fight social justice warrior liberal douchebags is to do everything they tell you you can't. That's literally the best way to fight back against them. Because it reminds them of how truly powerless they actually are. Because they do have power sometimes when they're able to cancel people, right? When they're able to make noise and get somebody to cancel because they're scared, and that works. But once you stand up to them and you just do everything that they tell you you cannot do, everything, they realize that, and that's why I like President Trump. And that's why a lot of people like him. Because he literally just does everything that they tell him he can't do. And they make fucking fools of themselves when they show up to press conferences and then they ask, sir, don't you think that's racist, bitch? Is this an epidemic or is this not an epidemic? Are you fucking kidding me right now? If you ask a question like that, you should be kicked out of a press conference because you're not a grown-up. You're not an adult. There are literally people dying all over the world. This thing's spreading like wildfire. And you're up here talking about feelings? Are you kidding me? That racism? Are you freaking kidding me? It came from China. We should be reminding them that every time. It did not have to happen. This is their fault. They eat bats and shit and dogs. And the doctor who found out about it and blew the whistle about it, what'd they do to him? Oh, yeah, they silenced him. Because that's what they do in Red China to dissidents and people who speak out and create alarms. Right? I'm not in the NBA. I don't have to suck your dick, China. I can tell it like it is. You people, your government, allowed this to happen. You want to kick the shit out of people in Hong Kong? I can't stop you. But I will say whatever word I want, and I will call it the Chinese coronavirus because that's exactly what it is. Get used to it. Get used to it. It feels very liberating, guys, to just say whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, whatever the fuck you want to say. It is a very liberating experience, and I highly recommend it. Once you realize that like you can say whatever you want and there's no repercussions for it, you're like, oh shit, they're not actually in charge. I can do whatever I want. This is great. So fuck them. Fuck them. Yeah. So that's what I would say if I was Trump. I would just do exactly what he's doing with that. Like, get the fuck out of here. Trump looks like he needs some sleep, quite frankly, when he gets up there. I mean, what a month he's had. What a month everyone's had. And it ain't going. I mean, Governor Cuomo has earned a lot of points with people. He's been a rock star and all this in New York. I think half the country's coronavirus victims are in that state now. It's fucking madness, and I assume most of them are in the city. Like I said, my sister's working in a hospital there. It's freaking insane to think about. Healthcare workers are probably most likely to get it, right? Most likely. So they got to be on the front lines. The doctor is dead now. They locked him up. And so they not only did they lock him up, but they did nothing to restrict travel anywhere. So this thing was just spreading. Now, we should have closed our borders months ago with this shit. Months ago. And we could have, deterred this from happening. But they didn't. So, because they downplayed it in China. And here we are now. What I want to know is, how the hell is Japan not having a coronavirus problem? They're literally right there. A Chinese coronavirus problem. They don't have one for some reason. I don't know how that is. How do we get it before them? Who knows? South Korea doesn't have much of a problem either. North Korea, they're all dead there anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, Cuomo's losing his shit, man, over there. I mean, I'm usually not a fan of the Cuomo brothers, especially Fredo. I mean, he's doing what a leader does now, unlike the mayor of New York City, who's just a tall, oafish, virtue signaling douchebag. But I mean, Charlie Baker, I think, is doing an okay job with coronavirus. I don't have a problem with it. I think he's doing the right things as far as shutting it down, making the right moves there. I just think people need to do their part, and if they can't do it, that's how you get freaking military in here, man, making you do it. That's how we become Spain, right? That's why we talked to David Dyer about what that's like, Oi. All right. So that's my rant. I don't know how I got from this to that. I mean, it's like all coronavirus all the time, man. Get used to it. Yeah. All right. Any questions you guys have? Japan do have a problem, huh? They closed their border, but I've looked at the stats. They're not even in the top 10 in the world with coronavirus, are they? I don't think. Who knows? Any questions you guys have, get them out. Yeah, Joe Biden, by the way, every time I see him on TV, oh my God, he's had so many gaffes. Oh my God. That man cannot be president. And I think that's why I voted for him over Bernie. I'm telling you. President Trump's approval ratings reached an all-time high today, guys. 49% approve, 45% disapprove. That's a Gallup poll. It's the most average run-of-the-mill poll, right? He was 60% approval with the way they're handling coronavirus. So don't listen to what the media is telling you. The American people, by and large, think he's doing a good job with the handling of the coronavirus. Period. What's up, James Schramm? We want to shout at you, brother. Excellent. The Ratchet Girl voice. I got to go back and listen to that one, Randy. I got to go back and because I don't even remember the Ratchet Girl voice, to be honest with you. Well, send me the story if you want, Lone Wolf. Email me. All right. Any other questions, guys, about this or anything? Can we talk about how LL Fool J stole those from Honor? So I'm gonna try to get him on a live show for this weekend. That's the kind of the Ratchet stories. I like to save those for the Saturday Night Live show because it's more of a fun show. The Tuesday, Thursday show, we talk more about the issues and stuff like that going on in the world. Saturday's a little bit more laid back, I like to think. Autograph. I mean, I don't have the book in hard copy, Heidi, but yeah, I'm definitely going to write another book coming up this year. It's going to be I Am Turtle Boy Part 2, and I feel like it's like every day I add to it. And like, I might need like 4 chapters just for the Bristol chapter. Like, let's be honest about it. I mean, there's just so much to talk about. Nothing on Luke Noble tonight. I will say this about Luke Noble, and I was really pissed about this. First of all, I fucking hate that guy. Let's just get that out of the way. I think he's an absolute animal, a psychopath, right? Who just plays this completely different person and is a monster behind the scenes. Just a monster. That's what I think of him. And nobody gives a shit. Like, that blog got nothing for views. I mean, you can see the counter on it, right? I write a blog about some, ratchet selling, toilet paper, and I got 50,000 views. I write about freaking an elected official, or a guy trying to be an elected official, friends of the governor, who is accused by his own daughter and a doctor of sexually abusing his own child. On top of the video we saw in which he verbally abused the same girl. And nobody gives a shit. It's fucking remarkable. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit depressing. You guys can contribute to that, right? By just liking or commenting on anything. I know it's like, what are you going to say about that? But every time you like or comment on a post on Facebook, it's more than likely to come up on other people's feeds, right? And then you get talking about it because this guy, he might get away with this because nobody's talking about it. That's the thing. Nobody's talking about it. No other media outlet seems to be interested in sexual abuse. He's very lucky that this came out during the coronavirus whole thing. But yeah. I'm really disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I was really disappointed yesterday when I saw that. Like, nobody gives a shit about child abuse, huh? I guess that's why kids get, sexually assaulted, because it is what it is. Nobody cares. Anyway, it really pisses me off. That guy, I fucking hate that guy. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, an absolute monster. I completely agree. Yeah, the Dr. Orr's testimony. I'm glad you read it, M-Job. Thank you. It was very hard to read. That guy's testimony was good because, there's no. The lawyer for Luke Noble is trying to establish. First of all, he's a scumbag. Everybody knows these guys from Gloucester, like $500 an hour attorneys, infamous. They're big in the Massachusetts Republican Party. Like, his son was endorsed by Charlie Baker too. Their daughter is an elected official. We got more coming on them. Complete scumbags. And these people out there, right? They're getting away with it because they're just bullying. They bullied the ex-wife. They had more money than her. Eventually, she just surrendered. She didn't want to she couldn't do it anymore. Financially, she's like a daycare worker or something. She couldn't do it. She couldn't. It's all about money when it comes down to divorces, man. They're expensive. And how long. That's why I always said, I'd rather just be miserable, man, to get divorced. Not too much work, too much money. Just rather be miserable. But the guy gets away with it because of, these attorneys. And you saw in that deposition that he went after, what is it? The Dr. Orr, Brian Orr. They went after him like, they were like almost like, I was told that they threatened to sue him. Like, that's crazy. The doctor. They did sue her for defamation. And they agreed to drop it when she signed the settlement for the divorce that gave him partial custody. The kids, by the way, still go with her. They go to school in her town. And I thought that deposition was interesting because clearly they were trying to smear her in there. They were trying to make it sound like the wife coached the daughter to say something. And that does happen in divorces because divorces are very contentious. That's why I like to stay away from family affairs like that, right? So divorces are very contentious. But in this case, the doctor is an expert in this kind of stuff. And so he's basically saying, I don't have proof that this girl was sexually assaulted, but here's what she said to me. And I've been doing this for 34 years. And not once has a child ever been coached to make up a lie about sexual abuse in order to help one parent in the divorce over another. Not once. So, I thought that was really interesting when he brought that up. Just talking to the girl. And, to me, the strongest evidence against him was the fact that in the documents, it said that he was, what was it? the part about yelling in the car was exactly how it went on in the tape, right? And that leads me to believe if that part is accurate, then I assume the rest is accurate. Because why would they, you know what I mean? It shows that they're telling the truth in this document. And he was not in a couple of things, right? First of all, he was held in contempt of court. He literally, the second and the therapist said that they were told by the girl that he said, touch my dinky doodle. I don't want to paraphrase. I am paraphrasing there. Terrible. That the girl, she got all serious about it, and she didn't want to talk about it much anymore. But she did admit that, like, yeah, it happened. Like, somebody pulled their pants, somebody exposed themselves to me, and which is who else would have been it? Who else would have been? And they tried to blame the other boyfriend and insinuated that it was other people. I mean, no. Guy's a monster. And the fact that he hasn't dropped out of the election tells you everything you need to know about him. That he's just a complete narcissist, man. Complete narcissist. To keep going in this fucking election. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, it does show a pattern. Oh, I mean, tell me, with the outburst, there was also mention of the outburst in the waiting room. Come on. I mean, how many things do you need to see? If you can't keep it together in the freaking waiting room of the doctor's office, dude, you have issues, man. You have serious issues. It makes me believe that he doesn't really like being around kids as much as he likes to be seen being around kids, if you know what I mean. Like, he likes to be seen with pictures of children so he can run for office and look like the all-American dad and keep this up. But I'm sorry, you don't get as successful as he is by spending a lot of time with your kids. You just don't. You get it. Your wife stays at home and she gets close with the kids. You're not as close with them, period. Yeah. All right. Other questions. I mean, that one story just sickens me, and I'm honestly shocked that it's not like a bigger story, but no, he did not really say dinky doodle. That's I agree with you guys. In my opinion, so, I mean, these people are so litigious, so I have to watch my words very carefully in these blogs. Because, I mean, they threatened to sue a freaking doctor, man. They threatened to sue the ex-wife for what? For telling the truth? I mean, fuck these people, man. You know how I feel about them. I had a strong rant about that shit last week. Fuck that. Fuck that. Anyway, also, speaking of hypocrites, I can't go a show without talking about this. So our old friend Bristol Blarney is literally doing a show tonight, and I got more coming on that. I know you guys are waiting for part 4. Is doing a show tonight on is addiction a disease or not, which is literally a blog she wrote about a year ago on here, and it's also a topic that she's been on both sides of the issue of, like in previous posts and on Turtle Boy. Right? There's Turtle Boy Bristol, and then there's, you know, Ratchet Bristol, which is the real Bristol, that said that it's a disease, and then she said it's not when she worked for me, etc. And literally, I mean, could you possibly think of someone less qualified to talk about that than an alcoholic? Could you? Also, I've got more coming, guys. I've talked to a lot, so ever since I started writing these blogs, people from her past have been reading them and reaching out to me. And you might have seen a couple of them in the comments. And I am talking about family members. I've talked to several family members. Thank you, Paul. Says screw Luke Noble. Absolutely. I've talked to several family members of her who have all reached out to me. And the horror story, guys, that they are telling me, it's just madness. You're not going to believe some of the shit that these people have been put through. Okay? I don't believe at all. Like, where do you see some of the police reports? Where do you see how many times she's called police on her quote-unquote husband, who's really her boyfriend? Because guess what, guys? I don't know if you guys know this. She is married. She is married. Guess to who? Guess who? Guess who she's married to? Take a wild guess. Because it ain't Andy Johnson. It's not him. It's not him. She's currently married to Steve Young, the guy that kicked the shit out of her. Remember her blog that she wrote? Remember that blog? Yeah. She's still married. She never got divorced. Oops. Turns out you can't get married if you didn't get divorced. You can't get remarried if you're still married to the first guy. Never bother getting divorced. So she's still legally married. So technically she was telling the truth when she said, I'm married, guys. Maybe we should look at that ring a little bit more. But she's still married to that guy. And I have talked to people who took her kids in and the hell that they were put through. Because the oldest child, the girl, was like a ping pong ball. She has been in and out of Kate's house so often. Right? Literally. And we're talking up until like 6 months ago. The girl, the 13-year-old, Kate's telling me in a group chat about how she's worried about this girl and she ran away. And now she has to deal with DCF is questioning her because she had bruises. And she's acting like a tough guy to me. And she's telling me, like, she went out to hang out with her boyfriend who's 16. I'm going to fuck him up and all this stuff. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because this is back when we were friends. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Relax, relax, relax. You don't want to chill out. Like, let it play its course. You don't need to do that. That's ratchet behavior. And I thought she was just mad. And I didn't know what I know now. So I'm like, I've never seen that side of her. And so I talked her out of hunting down a 16-year-old. And I don't even think that is a real story now, to be perfectly honest with you. And she still, guys, what she failed to mention to all her followers, and I found this out, she still has an open case with DCF. They visit her once a month. Still do. Yeah, they still do. And that night of it was like October when she rolled the eyes at me. You remember that show? She was drinking, there's 7 or 8 nip bottles on the table of that show. And you've seen some of the pictures of it. Well, she had her 2 kids with her there that night. And she drove home with them. Just like to point that out. Several witnesses saw that. So those kids, I do not think they're safe. I do not think her daughter got covered in bruises because because she snuck out the window. That was Kate's story. First she said that she got bruised falling out the window. Thank you, Stephen. Then she said she blamed a boyfriend for doing it. So I suspected, I started talking around. I'm like, did Andy do it? And everybody I talked to is just basically Andy's a drug addict and a loser, a nice guy, and but he's not the type. But they know who is. That's all I'm going to say. The girl had bruises on her. Kate was questioned about it. And DCF is involved in their life again. I would just like to point that out. So for all these idiots who are like, oh, it's the past. No. It's the present. Yeah, ratchets don't just change stripes like that. Not unless they come to terms with who they are and work to make amends. Her whole thing is I got a job and a car now. I make $60,000 a year and I got a car. See? Aren't you proud of me? I'm a grown-up now. No. And I love the people that are so sick of this shit. Too fucking bad. I'm going to fight for those kids now. That's the way I view this. Luckily, the younger 2 have been adopted out. And by the way, I shared this article the other day on Facebook, and I didn't quite say who these were. Yeah, these are crotch fruits. This is a 2014 article about Adoption Day, or 2 sons are adopted out. And I would like to point this out here. In the article, it says as follows. Right? So I'm not doxing them. Their names are out there, whatever. When a reunification... No, it says they believed Wade's stay would be temporary and that he would be reunited with his birth family, as is frequently the case with foster children. When a reunification attempt failed for Wade's brother Hunter, the Stevens agreed to take him into their home as well. When the reunification attempt failed. So this whole idea that she's been saying that, oh, I gave them up. That was my choice. No, it wasn't. They tried to get you back in. It says it right there. That's always DCF's primary goal, is reunite with the parents. They gave it a shot, and you couldn't do what you needed to do. And a common theme we're going to see with this is dick. Okay? She lost the kids. She went after Stephen Young, beat her up. She went to the shelter with the kids. She got an apartment in Taunton, and they found out that he moved in with her again. She took him back. Okay? And they said, you can't have this. That's why she lost the kids. And by the way, she's an alcoholic. The place was a complete sty. I have messages, guys. I've obtained messages that she sent the foster parents that took the kids in, and it's horrid what she wrote to these people who are literally taking care of her children. Now she'll say, well, that was the old me. That was 9 years ago. Oh, why is he bringing that up? That's the best you got? Did not happen then? What have you done to make amends for that besides going on your show and talking about it and pretending to cry? What have you done? Nothing. And you sit here and you want to fucking throw stones at other people? And you're going to talk, you think you have the freaking right to talk about is addiction a disease or not? Shameful. Completely shameful, disgusting behavior. The parents came, DCF came to the home. I've got the reports. I've read them all. It's horrid what was going on in this house. Absolutely horrid. Think of that Blackstone House of Horrors thing. We're getting close to that. Close. That's what we were getting to at this point. Those children, multiple times, were taken out of the home. And I think she lied about being, there's so much more to this. I think she lied about being sexually abused by her father. She told people that. I just think, and every guy in her life, she's called the police on Andrew Johnson more times than I can count. It gets crazy. And on Stephen Young. And every single time, it is the same narrative, guys. Every single time, she's listed as a victim. She got a restraining order on him in the middle of the night over some fucking bullshit. She just gets in arguments with these guys, right? Like she did with me. And when she can't win, she has to win. And she will just make shit up. And she will put on the tears. And like, I've talked to people that know her very well, right? Some of my sources for the story are people that stayed in shelters with her, for crying out loud. Who Kate has, by the way, reached out to and threatened since then. She pretends like she doesn't read them. She doesn't care. She cares. I know you listen to this, Kate. I know you're going to go on your, I don't call it Discord anymore. I call it Diskid, because which one do you want, Kate? Diskid or Diskid? So she's over in Diskid and she's, pretending like, oh, I don't even read that. Bitch, you read everything. You know it. And you're pretending you have a lawyer. You're going to come after you. No, you're not. You're not. Because I'll come after you. You won't do it. I have actual damages. You've literally cost me business. You've cost me business. And I can prove it. So, I mean, if she wants to dance, we can dance. I'm not afraid. I mean, the line, there's a reason she's not coming on the show. The chick that'll talk about anything won't debate me and won't talk. So why not? Why is that? Why is she scared? You got something to hide, Kate? Oh yeah, that's right. You'd rather hide in your bubble. And I can't wait to expose all the fuck sticks, by the way, who are standing by her, because they're a bunch of ratchets themselves. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Edwin Salazar. Think of Edwin. All of the freaking messages you sent me. Remember, 3 weeks ago, Edwin Salazar, a.k.a. Ed Takazawa, was literally like licking my balls after their show went down on the 25th. They took the channel down, saying, fuck Kate. I'm so done with her. I don't know if Kate's going to like those messages, man, when I publish them on, because I am going to publish those. You're also going to see Angelo Doc Holiday Graziano literally and pathetically begging me for fucking mercy while being a fucking penis. That's coming out. You're going to see Taryn St. Aubin. Oh, I know about your ratchet past, Taryn, too, a.k.a. Taryn Alyssa, a.k.a. Toast Malone. I know all about that. It's all coming out. So it's a fascinating sociological study about all these people, because like I went back on some of these people's things, and they are literally the biggest fans that we have. Like, not the dumbest fans, obviously, but they have been riding the turtle for years. Watching every show, never missed anything. Making memes, buying merch, all that shit. And then all of a sudden, they were just told a lie that I stole money from a battered woman and that I pretended to be South Shore Turtle Girl for a year. And they're like, oh my God, it was a scam the whole time. Sure, she has no evidence of any of that, but they all just did it. And to me, that's fascinating, because they literally are following around a woman who is the epitome of everything that we stand against the Turtle Boy. Like literally the worst mother in the history of motherdom. The worst. If you were born, had the unfortunate consequence of being in her womb, right? You're fucked. I mean, in hindsight, the two little ones, they got away with it. But the two big ones, they were fucked. Those two kids are fucked. And I feel terrible for them, because they grow up in an environment that is unhealthy. And all she does is sit on freaking Discord today and go on her freaking show and act like a ratchet. That's it. So should we watch the show for a couple minutes and then call it a day? I mean, I'm so disgusted by them. We got to watch it, right? We got to watch the train wreck. This is our new Turtle Boy tradition here. Because they by the way, they go live now on Tuesdays. So this is their thing. They're totally very original, by the way. Very, very original. Let's see who's on there. We got to see this. Yeah, I wish Luke Noble would date her. And wouldn't that be fun? I don't know who. I mean, they're both awful. Both awful. But she couldn't be with a guy like him because, and I really think like the Stephen Young thing, obviously Stephen Young was completely in the wrong for punching her, right? But she hit him too, man. She abused that guy too. Trust me. And the first one, Rick Kelly today, wait till you see what she's done to his family. Teresa's father, who is a drug addict, because guess who got her into drugs? Guess who got him into drugs? That would be Kate. That would be Kate. And yeah, so let's see here. I have so much more to this. I haven't published the next one yet because I'm literally still talking to sources, and every day more people reach out to me about it, and every day I'm like horrified. So I do not subscribe to their channel, so I have to, because I won't give them the satisfaction. So I just go over here and I search for it, and let's see what they're talking about. We got to watch this, right? So let me change my audio settings to. We'll watch a couple minutes of this, and we'll call it a night. Okay, live panel, it's a choice. Let's see what they got to say. And I say we send Turtle Riders in there. I say we do the emoji thing.
But I'm going to have to go back.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm considered an essential job, I guess, so I've just been going to work every day and locking everybody out of my office so they don't get me infected.
Let's see who the first Turtle Rider to give me an emoji is.
I got laid off, so that's great.
Maddie Moe's there. Maddie Moe.
Well, I'm not like laid off. As soon as this is over, I still have my job, but while this is going on, I don't have a job.
Is addiction a
so
disease?
That's wonderful.
Is giving away your kids a disease?
I asked everybody today, if you make essential oils, are you an essential employee? You might be. You might be.
Oh, Maddie Moe!
If you sell essential oils on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, like Cherokee says, you stole Blind Mike's shtick.
Yeah, I was thinking like the pyramid scheming, those things that people do on Facebook and they like sell shit.
Oh, the shit I talk about.
They have like Facebook parties to sell shit. They must be making a killing right now.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
They're going crazy.
Spend on it.
Yeah.
It's my whole timeline on Facebook. People selling stupid shit that doesn't work. Like seaweed wraps that make you skinny.
This is, by the way, literally my material. The whole like Herbalife thing, you got that from Turtle Boy.
Yeah, that's how you beat the virus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what do we got? What's on the agenda, guys?
Yeah.
Come on.
The seaweed wrap your face, that's all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, when's the fun start?
Yeah, so...
Who's the junkie?
Alright, first of all, how is the audio, everybody in the comments?
Terrible.
Alright? I know last couple of shows it was...
Are they silencing turtle emojis?
We have somebody in the comments wanting to sell Sensi.
Yeah. Apparently we stole our title from Blind Justice.
Blind Mike. You stole from Blind Mike.
How can you tell
blind?
No, you stole from Blind Mike.
Thing from a blind guy, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Wade and Hunter.
Here comes that copyright.
It's a disease.
Yeah.
That's getting deleted. That's getting deleted. That's getting deleted.
All right, everyone says good. All right, so tonight, Kate, this was kind of Kate's thing.
Kate's thing.
Kind of got going here. We're gonna have a little discussion tonight on whether addiction is.
Are they deleting them?
Or choice?
Because I'm not seeing anything come up.
Yeah, I like this topic. It's a good one.
And
How
I
do they do that?
think since
You're the one who picked it. I feel that you should start off. So if I could say you have the floor,
I don't
believe
see
you
it,
should,
Chris. I don't see it on
You
Master
should get
Report.
first crack at this one.
Yeah. So Kate, do you?
No, I don't want to take first crack at this.
All right. So let's.
She's the
so
expert.
First, let's go over how you want this to go down. Because
Is everybody
are we
blocked?
doing like a debate style? Like, are we doing?
Are all you people blocked? Oh, there's
timed,
Wade
like
Hunter.
timed
I want to talk
talking?
about the
What
topic,
are we doing
guys.
here?
No,
I love
think
you,
we
Wade
have
Hunter.
a robust and healthy
Get 'em.
discussion. You just have to make sure.
Did
Mitch,
they block
as
people
we're
from
monitoring this,
putting
that we only
turtle
talk about it
emojis?
this time, and just
Try,
keep it.
they blocked Wade and Hunter.
So we had
Try
so we had
spelling out
someone
turtle.
else coming on.
Try
too, so
spelling
if he's
turtle.
Listening, feel free to still come
Yeah.
on. And
Brian's
about this?
Redemption. What the hell, man?
What can we
yeah,
write?
and we will also, I think, after a while, if we need to, we could always put the link out there
Where-
to have whoever else wants to come on and talk about this, come on and talk about it.
Where are your kids, Kate?
Yeah. We can put the link out there.
They deleted the turtle emoji. They must have some type of algorithm
All right, so
that blocks
whoever
turtle
wants to
emojis,
go
right?
first
Because nothing's coming up.
can step up and go first.
The Wade and Hunter comment got deleted.
Don't all jump at once.
The turtle emojis are
Yeah, I
blocked.
was really. I
What can
was
we put
kinda
instead?
Like,
What can we put instead? Is there any other
waiting
emojis
for,
we could put? Wow.
Brian's redemption here. That was really gonna.
Do they have a call-in number? What is it again?
Yeah, that was gonna be
bring us
the-
in here. Does anyone here think it's a disease, or do we all think the same thing?
See,
Maybe happened to-
you know what?
I
gonna
can't
go
believe
with-
this is a fucking show.
I'm going to go with it's a disease. I think it can go both ways.
By the way, these guys
But I'm
are
going to
like
argue that
medical
it's a disease.
experts, by the way.
I think it
Turtle emoji.
ends up
Oh, there we go, David.
into
There we go. Oh,
something
deleted.
like a disease.
Oh,
But to be
what
honest,
a bunch
when
of
it
fucking
first starts
pussies.
out, it is a
You guys are no fun, man.
100% choice that you decide to make.
I'm like,
I can agree with that.
100%
is giving away your kids a
You-
choice.
elect to try a drug. You
This is getting
elect to
blocked.
pick up a drug.
Is giving away
So,
your kids a
I'll
choice.
give
That's
you
getting blocked.
For instance, so
Block me.
you know.
Block me.
with
Come on.
all- so
That better not make it
biggest
to the
drug out
top.
right now is
No
heroin,
way.
okay?
There they are.
Everybody knows about heroin.
Oh,
For
yeah.
Christ's
They
sake,
know we're
every
here
single
now.
person knows about
They
heroin.
know we're here.
You know, because it's been all over the news, that there is a better chance than not
Uh-oh.
that you
Uh-oh.
Hold on, Maddie, real quick. I guess we can bring in a sixth person with the screen going. So,
Hey, Brian!
actually, no, it kicked out my.
What
yeah,
is-
so
who is
we
this
got
junkie?
Brian
That
here
guy
now, too.
definitely
I just wanna
thinks
let
it's
you
a
guys know.
disease.
But Maddie, you can pick back up where you were. Sorry about that.
So that's fine. So you all
Did they
know
delete it? Oh, it's still up.
from everybody talking about it.
Oh,
But
so many
there is
people.
a
Oh, there they
better
go.
chance
We
than
got some
not
new emojis. They
that
can't
if
stop
you try
them.
heroin,
Here they come.
you
Here they
are
come. They're getting
probably going
deleted.
to die. Number one, you're going to. Number two, you're going to get hooked.
They're so
You
scared.
know that.
They're so
And
scared.
everybody knows, even if you
They're
haven't
so
tried
scared.
it before, the
I
first
love it.
time that you do it,
I
you're
love it.
going to chase that high because you can
Kate.
never get that first high feeling ever
When
again. You can
are
try to
you
chase it as
going
much
to
as you want
talk
to, but you're never
about
going to
your
get that
open
same high that you got from the
DCF
first time
case?
that you ever did heroin for the first time. So the fact that
Oh, will she
you
answer?
know that it's going to probably kill you, and
Will
you
she
just
answer?
elect to think that it's still a great idea to pick it up, that is a 100% choice. You can't tell me that that's not a choice that you're
Shut the
electing
fuck
to
up,
make to
Maddie.
be
We're
able to
really
go ahead
listening to
and
like a
try
serious
heroin.
conversation
Now, is it a disease?
about a complicated.
Morphs
medical
for me,
matter?
I think
Like,
it does
oh my
morph
fucking
into
God.
a disease.
They're not
It's a
deleting these.
disease
I mean,
like
I'm
cancer.
hidden. Can you guys not
It's not
see
a
the Turtle Boy
disease
Sports
like-
comments come up?
No,
I feel like I'm like period
other,
hidden. Yep.
you know,
Laylee
things
has
that
been
you could
hidden.
get. Like my
PG's
son's got
definitely
an
getting
immune
hidden.
deficiency.
Definitely.
He was born with that. Like
Ah, it's
not
gone. They're
born
all
with
gone. They're all gone.
heroin. You're
What a
you're
bunch
not
of
born addicted
cowards,
to heroin
man.
unless you're
Cowards.
a child that's born.
No,
addicted
they're
to
not
heroin.
showing up,
But
Wade and Hunter. You're gone.
Is it a disease? It's something that can morph into.
It's
something
literally
like
a
disease,
round
but I
table
don't
junkie
think it's a
discussion.
disease.
I'm blocked too.
So with
I
that,
got
I'll
more
yield
names
my
up.
time when,
Believe me.
you know, with if somebody
I'm
else
gonna go
wants
ahead
to
and
jump in.
log into another
All right,
account.
Brian, what's
I got
up,
so
man?
many friggin' accounts.
How's it going, guys? Going on.
I'm saying good.
So
Just
Brian,
switch it
I saw in the comments you got what 8 years? Yeah.
I got 8 years, so they got an 8-year
I got 7
junkie.
myself, so I can respect that.
Mitch
but
is
yeah,
gonna-
welcome on.
Mitch is a recovering junkie too.
Well,
Okay.
we kind of just kicked off. Really, Matt is the only one that just talked.
Quite the panel they've got.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys
Which
want
account
to
should
just
I go with?
whoever wants to jump in now. Brian, you can go if you want.
There's
If
so
not,
many
if you
more.
want to listen in for a
I'll pick
minute,
another
kind of
one.
catch up, that's cool too.
I'm gonna add a different
Yeah,
account. I have so
I'll
many
kick
friggin'
it off
accounts.
now. I'm ready. I guess kind of like my whole train of thought about whether it's an addiction or a choice.
Oh,
I guess
God,
going
this is-
back to like me personally in the very, very, very beginning, like it started just basically with
Oh,
pills
confused,
that I was
yeah.
prescribed for cracked ribs. Like, I wasn't choosing to abuse them or anything
Jumping
like
Joe
that.
McGovern. Let me give you that one.
And then from there, it just kind of
Jumping Joe,
evolved
okay.
and
Jumping Joe
spun out
McGovern.
of control
Okay, let's go.
beyond belief.
Good
And
Jumping
next
Joe.
thing I know, it was more of a financial decision to switch over to heroin. So I can see where, in that regard, like, it was a choice that
Oh,
I had
God.
made. But I think once actual addiction sets in, like, any kind of choice goes right out the window. And it's, from that point, it's not as simple as, well, just don't use and you don't
Kate,
got
yeah,
a problem,
when is Kate going to talk about her
because
experience?
it's,
That's all I
you're
want to know.
forever
As in,
gonna
like, you know,
keep,
last week.
you know, avoiding withdrawal
Last
and
week.
not wanting to deal with the repercussions of withdrawal and, you know, putting your
Yeah,
job
how is
at
Kate
risk,
not leading
family
the
at
charge in
risk.
this, man?
Like, logical people don't wake up in the morning and go, yep,
Yeah.
that's it. Today's the day that I'm just going to jeopardize my family. I feel like doing that.
Oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and share this. I'm going to switch it over here now that I'm logged into this account.
Oh, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you 100% there. I absolutely agree. And I mean, there's so many different facets of
I'm very bored.
abusing
Imagine
drugs.
listening
Like,
to
you-
this and,
you
like, not
got
laughing
addicted
at
to
it. That's got to be the
pills
weirdest
because
feeling.
you had cracked ribs. So, I mean, that's...
I liked it more when they were doing You Might Be a Ratchetif. Oh, so Kate's the one doing the... Chris says that Kate is the one doing the deleting and the
Fortunately,
blocking.
pills are a lot more expensive than it would be.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
thank you, accountability. I mean, this is
pills are a lot
stupid. This is
more-
like... If you're going to have a discussion on whether it's a disease or not, you should have freaking doctors on and, like, actual
Fortunately,
medical experts that
pills
know
are a
about
lot
what diseases
more
are. How about that?
expensive than it
Instead of,
would
like,
be to go
junkies and Maddie Mo.
pick
That's
up,
what we...
you know,
And Kate.
to go pick up some
A
heroin.
raging
because heroin's
alcoholic,
the cheapest drug on the street right
some
now.
pillheads,
You can go pick up
and
heroin and go
bootleg
do
Brett.
heroin, and it's
That's what we got
a
here.
lot cheaper than, you know,
Bootleg
than
Brett.
pills. So I mean, to
gotta
that
create
point,
a
I definitely
channel here.
100% agree with you on.
Makes me create a channel. Hold on. Takes 2 seconds. NPR is actually... Yeah, like if you had actual medical experts on there, I might be interested in what you're saying. But if you're just going to come on here and... Maddie... Like, what does Maddie Mo know about anything? Maddie Mo can't stay awake through a Turtle Boy Live episode. How the hell is he an expert on anything? Nah, addicts. Totally legit discussion, exactly.
And die from detoxing off of heroin. You can feel
What
like
should
you're
I
gonna
say?
die.
They're only going to give me one thing to say
100%.
before I get blocked.
Same thing
So
with,
let's
I
keep
don't
that in
think you
mind.
can
Let's think
die
of something
from-
good I can write.
From detoxing off of meth. I think alcohol is the only
And
one
by the way, I did
that
not know you could
you
just
can die
block
from
people
detoxing
for
off
good.
of
I did
meth.
not know that.
Benzos too.
Because apparently you can just
Yeah,
hide them, like you
benzos,
can't even
but
see. You can't even see
In
my
the same
comments.
aspect, alcohol is so widely used for.
Here's the thing
anything
about
and
Ashley
everything to get people
Acevedo
together,
that I'm like,
you know,
really,
to,
I was asking
you
her the other
know,
night.
to start a conversation.
Ashley
you know.
Acevedo is a 3-year-old daughter.
Alcohol has
I'm
that
like,
for the,
could
for
you
the
imagine
better- for
Ashley
the,
giving
you know,
away your
quote
kid?
something, it has
Could
that
you imagine
fucking, you
being
get a
like
couple
that?
of beers
Because
in
you're
you,
literally
you
following
you
someone
have that more
who did
relaxed,
that.
you know,
That's fucking crazy.
feeling about
Absolutely
you.
crazy.
You can probably go and talk to somebody that you normally wouldn't go up
What
and
should
talk
I
to
write? Let's
because
see.
you
What should I write?
didn't have the sack to do it. Now
Give
you
me
have a
something good
couple
to
of beers
write.
and you go and you talk to them.
I'll ask her about.
I don't know. Jump in, guys.
One thing I gotta ask you, though, is call it a disease. Like, what is the
Kate's
purpose
talking.
of that? I
Let's see what
know
she
the
says.
answer to this, but why is it that now it is acceptable, if not acceptable, mandatory almost, to call it a disease?
I don't know how. I tried. Chris, I'm gonna unlock
Well,
Chris
I think-
after this episode. He
Go
sent me
ahead.
the link, but I
No,
got
go
it too
ahead, go
late.
ahead. I've been talking too much anyway.
I think it takes away stigma. To
God, these guys are boring.
when you say you feel ashamed when you feel like you're an addict, but when you take away the stigma and you call it a disease, not only will you probably get government funding for treatment for that
All right, give me something to say. Let's
if you
see.
call it a disease, because it'll be treated like a disease, but you'll also take away the stigma and make it not acceptable to do it, but acceptable to come out about it and seek help.
But at that point in time, it makes it become socially acceptable. That's the difference.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Now, you couldn't talk about disease before, but now you can talk about disease. And the reason why you can talk about it is because it's socially acceptable. You can't tell me 10 years ago that it was socially acceptable to talk about heroin, because it wasn't. Now look what we have. We have safe injection sites, for fuck's sake. People can go and shoot up, and it's
So Joe
okay.
McGovern, that's definitely getting
The
taken
only
down.
other safe injection site that you can
Definitely.
have
Let's see how
is
Joe
a bar,
McGovern-
because you could go inject yourself and
Come on.
get drunk. There's no other. There's no safe snorting sites now, is there? No, you don't see any safe snorting sites.
What are these people
Hold
talking
on, let me bring it back though, because you are
That's a
correct.
good point,
It's a
Accountability
stigma
Vermont.
thing,
Her
right?
boyfriend
So,
is literally
back in
a
the
drug addict,
1950s
still.
with alcoholism.
Who is she
I,
to judge?
I was an
Who
AA
is she
for
to judge?
many years, and I will be happy to explain later on why I gave that up.
Here
But,
comes Carney's
it was
and Sad
completely
South. Oh, they know him there. They know him there. The jig is up. I'm
There's
salad.
something
I didn't give my dogs away.
intrinsically
I mean, I didn't give my kids away. Even
defective
worse.
about you, right? And it was morally unacceptable. So the disease model comes around and it takes away that stigma because obviously, they're human beings. Also,
let's see
I
what
would
you
agree
gotta
with Officer, there's a financial incentive to this. If it's a disease, then there may be a cure and they can sell that cure to you. But what makes a disease? Does anyone know the definition of what a disease is?
You tell us,
By
Kate.
like a medical journal.
You're an expert.
Anyone?
You tell us.
Just if we're gonna go like medical purposes, sorry if I just cut somebody off. Like I would think
Who is this albino?
like classifying it as a disease has to do with like the way it forever alters the chemical
He's got a
components
flat
within
brim
your brain, and the same way as like cancer does, whatever other
hat.
diseases.
For fuck's sake.
Isn't a disease something that like changes a function or
This is like
something
Kate's,
in your body
Kate's
for
asking any
a
questions because she
negative
wants to
way
sound smart here.
type thing?
She likes having a panel
A
of more.
disease
Oh, here we
is
go. Here's the answer.
biological process that is marked by a pathogen, right?
Oh,
so
right,
you have a virus
She
or
loves sounding smart.
a pathogen that somehow disrupts your body. Is alcohol or drug a pathogen? No, not really. I would say that, and I mean, I've been through the whole recovery train. I've actually been through numerous models of recovery before I
know.
I settled on and found the most success with smart recovery, which, by the way, does not necessarily preach absolute abstinence forever. And I will tell you why. That is because of neuroplasticity. So the disease model and
Word of the
alcohol
day, exactly.
definitely help to kill some of the stigma. But it's sort of a false dichotomy.
Oh my,
right?
false
so
dichotomy. Shut the
Either you're
fuck
addicted
up.
because it's a moral
Such a
failing, you made a
fraud.
bad choice, and you're a bad person.
You got
Or
the
we
Wikipedia.
decide that it's a disease and therefore it absolves some of that personal responsibility, some of that stigma. You can't help it, your disease.
This is what she does.
You need
She
treatment,
loves
you need a
to
cure.
sound like the smart
And those two things are not mutually exclusive. And I think with the disease model, what I take the most issue with is that if you are saying that as an addict you have a disease, you are conceding in some way that there is something defective and less than about you, correct? I was born this way. I think it also takes away your choice or your personal responsibility for what you're doing. If you say you have a disease, then it's
She
like,
doesn't even understand what she says. She thinks she's so
an
smart.
addict for on and off for like 10 years.
So, like,
and,
what's happening
when I
right
was
now?
in the midst of it,
What's happening right now here is this is classic Kate, right? She has surrounded herself by junkies and morons, and none of them are very smart, which is exactly what she wants. It's the way she surrounds herself with men, right? She surrounds herself with troubled men who are addicted to drugs and who she can feel better than. That's why she didn't like me, because she knew she wasn't better than me. She doesn't like being around people that she can't be the smartest one in the room for. Like, I was smarter than her, and she couldn't stop me. But with these idiots, she's like, oh, look at me. I can say the words like pathogen and dichotomy and her favorite word, abject. And she'll just say the same words over and over again. And you look at Brian's redemption here, and there he is with his flat brim hat. And, that motherfucker loves OCs. Look at him. Jesus Christ. He loves OCs. And this is what she wants, right? So she can sound smart, and all these people will just be drawn to her. It's a fascinating sociological study about how stupid people can get behind a junkie just because she's saying big words. Not just a junkie. I mean, junkies giving her too much credit. Like, junkies don't do, like, she wasn't even addicted to heroin. She's done it before, but she's not addicted to it. She's addicted to selfishness. She's addicted to attention. That's all it is. And you're going to be shocked when I publish some of the shit that's happened. Shocked. Shock. So, anyway, you guys want to listen to any more of this? Or are we done?
Because It's
Oh,
a
God.
reward
One more,
based
then we'll be
system.
done.
It feels good, right? And people do that for a myriad of reasons. And I like
myriad,
Dr.
good word.
Mark Lewis. He's somebody who I read a lot of.
Oh, my
and
God.
he is
She
a
reads Mark-
neuropsychologist.
Oh, she reads a lot of neuropsychology.
Was actually addicted to heroin in his 20s.
Oh.
And he does not believe in the disease model at all. He
That's her
gets a
dog,
lot
by
of
the way.
slack from the medical community because he doesn't. But he talks about isolation and social stressors and things that drive people to kind of short path their brains and hit that reward system, right? And it is absolutely perfectly natural for every human being on this planet to want to activate that reward system. We do it in a million different ways. We have sex, we gamble, we do drugs.
You have a lot of sex.
Interact with our children, we fall in love, we go to concerts, we listen to music, we watch TV. These are all ways that we activate the reward system in your brain. It is a 100% natural, normal, and human thing to do.
Lately
The
got
issue
deleted.
with
What a bunch
it
of
is
cowards.
that the
This is
more
getting
that you
deleted.
take drugs or alcohol to kind of short track that
Kate Bristol,
reward
that's
system
going
to your
away.
brain, you're building
That's
these
going
neural paths into
I
your
guess
brain
she
that
doesn't
tell
see
your
me.
brain,
I guess I'm
this
him.
is what I need to do to feel good. So you have created something to which you are conceding some choice and some control because your brain is going to continue to go back to do the easiest thing. It's going to crave that. That doesn't mean it's a disease, though. It doesn't mean that you're any
Itchy
different
balls
than the
deleted.
rest
Look
of
at all
the
the
world, that you're
deleted.
diseased, that you're defective, that you're in some
Oh,
way
they can't stop
abnormal.
us.
You are perfectly normal in wanting to hit your reward system.
All right,
It's
all right.
just the way
All right.
that you're doing
I
it
can't
is
listen to her anymore.
maladaptive, if that makes sense.
Like, it's like teaching a class.
It does, but based on the definition that they have out for a
So I
disease,
love this
that
guy,
would
Officer Oak.
define a disease.
Trust me.
How?
He might be the... Oh, she's here ripping butts. Every time I was spoken to this, every time I ever talked to Kate, she's
I mean,
ripping
how, though?
Newports.
There are...
Oh, you said how. I'm sorry.
It's a result of deep learning. It's the same thing as trauma. Trauma has a similar effect to your brain.
Oh, my fucking God. I can't even do it. It's so fucking boring and terrible. Oh, there's Maddie Mo. All right. That's enough. All right, guys. So if you guys don't have any more last-minute questions, we'll call it a night. I can't even process it. I can't stop looking at Brian's redemption. I mean, look at that guy. There's no way that motherfucker's clean. No way. And Matty Mo is the only one with no excuse because he's not high. He's just fucked up by nature. He's just not funny, not entertaining, and that's why he's gravitated towards these people because they make him feel special. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll call it a night. Yeah, exactly. Trauma, like what she puts her family through every day. Oh, it's so terrible. I feel so bad for the girl, for the oldest girl, man. It's almost too late. DCF can't take them anymore because they're too old. No one will adopt the kids because there's such bad behavior problems, you know? And it's all her fault. It's completely her fault. The life she has ruined the lives of two people. And the only thing that she did right, which was not her choice, was give up the other two in hindsight. That was the best thing that ever happened to those two. And she was right about that. They're much better off. Those two will have a shot in life. Their brother and sister will not. Can I do a podcast with Brett tomorrow? Thursday. I mean, Brett, my door's open if Brett wants to come on Thursday. And yeah, a store will be back up hopefully this week, I promise. I know, I should leave. I should do bone rides again. All right. Got any updates on BBC? I talked about the BBC for like 30 minutes. How many more blogs? I thought there would only be 3, but I think it's going to be more based on the shit that's coming in every day. It's a lot worse than I thought it would be. A lot worse. Ed Takazawa, was he here? I don't know. I mean, he comes on here sometimes. Ed has a wrench in here? Nuh-uh. I don't think so. He shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. She didn't give him up for the right reasons. She didn't have a choice. They wanted to reunify. You saw it in the Attleboro paper. Literally, it says right here. It also goes on to say, one more line here and then we'll end it. It says, there was nothing to talk about. We didn't want another family to adopt them. If they couldn't go home, we wanted them home with us. If they couldn't go home, they could not go home. It wasn't a choice. She says it right there. So, all right, it is what it is, guys. We will call it a night now, and we will see you all on Thursday for the next episode of The Live Show. All right? Peace to our artists.